Hi, I'm Kevin Felix Chan with Best Delegate, and I'm here this weekend at the 5 College Model United Nations Conference held on the campus of the beautiful Mount Holyoke College. This is Margaret Fitzgerald, Secretary General of 5 College Model United Nations. Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you. This has been a real pleasure and a real treat for all of us, so it's been great.
Cool. You guys mentioned at opening ceremonies that this is 5 College Model United Nations. It's not just Mount Holyoke, but also all the different colleges that comprise of the 5 College group. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that and explain what that concept is like?
Absolutely. The 5 College area in Western Massachusetts actually has Mount Holyoke and Smith colleges of the Seven Sisters, and Amherst College, University of Massachusetts at Amherst, which is their flagship campus, and Hampshire College. And at the moment, only Mount Holyoke, Smith, and UMass have active Model UN clubs, but we have participants who are from Hampshire who participate not only in the conference, but in UMass's general IRC club. And so throughout the past few years, I believe they started planning about 7 years ago, and it took until 2007 to get off the ground. We've been tossing the idea around of having a 5 college conference and using the combined resources of the colleges, especially the combined resources of the staff that we could amass to create a really innovative collegiate crisis conference for everyone who wishes to come. It's been a lot of local schools. We have a lot who travel up and down the East Coast. But for us, one of the major benefits is that everyone is right here, and we have not only one college's libraries and professors and resources for ideas and help with background guides and committee topics. We have 5 of them because we all have access to all 5 colleges. And having the added aspect of having one huge co-ed college and 2 very small women's colleges allows us to bring very different viewpoints to what is important not only in Model UN, but in the international relations field as a whole. And so that combined viewpoint gives us a much more holistic approach to running committees and engaging delegates. And one of the things that we've noticed this year especially is the first year we don't have a single committee that is all staffed by students from one school. And that's actually the first year we've had it, which is really, really awesome. In the past, we've had a couple that are very integrated between the 3 schools, but there's always been 1 or 2 that are all UMass students, all Mount Holyoke students, all Smith students. And this year, everything is all one body, which is amazing. So.
And I noticed, not just in the committees, but the staff too, the senior secretariat, there are people from different colleges now.
Yes, absolutely.
Well. And, so to put on a conference, to start a relatively new conference, it's hard, and you said with the 5 college, you're able to combine all the resources and put on this conference, and it's only in its 4th year?
Yep, fourth year.
Yeah, and so that gives you a good perspective to speak to, for those who are smaller colleges or want to start a conference, a brand new one, or are relatively new at starting a conference, what type of advice would you give them to run such, to start something this ambitious?
Absolutely. The 2 things that I think are the most key are to not give up and to wait a year. When you start planning a conference, the best thing to do is to start planning for the year after you're planning it. So if you wanted to have one that you never had before, start planning it now for 2012. Don't try to have one in 2011, have it spring of 2012, because it really does take a full year of planning and preparation, and if it's the first time, sometimes it even takes a little bit more. The other part of that, to not give up, is that new conferences have a lot of challenges that they face, and the first year will be very, very hard. I can absolutely guarantee, even now it's still very hard, but it gets easier every year, and the first year is always the hardest, and if you can get through that year, you have an amazing shot of making it work and making everything be awesome and great. For instance, one of the things we've had to struggle with is transportation. Because we have staff from all the schools, it's hard to get them here every morning. And in the past, we've had people who drive to and from the schools 3 or 4 times between 6 and 8 a.m. to bring all of the staff to the campus for the day. Those are challenging drives. Obviously, if your staff's all coming from one place, it's a little bit easier to get them there, but you're still going to face numerous challenges getting delegates places. Badges will never be right, ever. No matter how hard you try, I promise they will not go right. It is a facet of it, and as you get older, you'll just develop a better system for everything. Every conference has its quirks, and that's what makes it great. But it also is what allows you to run it successfully because you know how to work those quirks to your advantage. So.
Cool. And you know, you have some good advice there, and the college circuit has been receptive to it. A lot of people have been coming to the conference now that it's in its 4th year, and people are returning. For those who aren't here, though, you know, why should they come to 5 College Model United Nations next year?
One of the very best aspects of the conference is how small our committees are. In the 3 years that I've been here, the largest committee I've seen has been either 25 or 30 people. For most schools, that's the smallest crisis conference. Obviously, there are a lot of exceptions to that, but generally speaking, they don't run smaller than 25 to 30, and that's our largest. One of the huge advantages to that is that everyone, it's usually a committee of 10 to 12 people, has to work very closely not only with the other delegates on the committee, but also with the crisis staff and the chairs. Normally, when you're on a crisis committee, you're going to work either with just crisis or just the delegates. There's some awesome people who do both at the same time in a 30 to 40 person committee, and you're wonderful. But for the rest of us, it really helps to have a small core group so that you can not only work together really well, but it's also very easy to know who you're working against and what their weaknesses are. And so from the delegate perspective, that makes it so much more fun because you know exactly whose ribs to stick a knife in and what to do to make sure that everything is going to pass swimmingly and it'll be a much better conference experience for everybody.
And you get to know your chairs better too, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. A lot of our chairs say that their best friendships have been made through this, and I can certainly attest to that. One of my friends is in Greece now that I met my first year, and we still talk at least a couple times a week.
Cool,
So.
excellent. Well, thank you so much for inviting us here at this conference. It's been a pleasure. You know, Mount Holyoke, they do a great job. Everyone at 5 College Consortium does a great job with this conference. If you guys are looking for a small conference to go to, I recommend this one. We don't blog about small conferences normally, and so it's a great change of pace to come to this one and see all the delegates, you know, be able to interact in a more intense and fast-paced debate. So.
Yeah, we're really enjoying having you here, and I know all the staff are thrilled that we didn't tell them that you were coming. So this was a surprise for a lot of them, and they're psyched. So it's really been a lot of fun.
All right, well, excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.